Have you ever wondered how Spain, a country so rich in culture and history, came to be what it is today? Our journey begins in the depths of prehistoric times, a period shrouded in mystery and brought to life by the fascinating cave paintings in Altamira. These remarkable illustrations, etched onto stone walls, whisper tales of ancient life, providing us with a glimpse into the world as it was thousands of years ago. As we move forward in time, we witness the rise of two distinct cultures, the Celts and the Iberians. The Celts, a nomadic people known for their warrior spirit, migrated from the frigid north, while the Iberians, hailing from the eastern Mediterranean, brought with them a rich and sophisticated culture. These two groups would eventually merge, creating a unique blend of traditions that still echo in the Spanish landscape today. The course of Spain's history took a dramatic turn with the arrival of the Romans in the 2nd century BC. The Roman legions, in their relentless pursuit of expansion, conquered the Iberian Peninsula and established the province of Hispania. This marked the beginning of a long period of Roman rule that would deeply influence Spain's social, political, and cultural fabric. Under Roman dominion, Hispania flourished. Infrastructure improved dramatically with the construction of aqueducts, roads, and cities. Latin, the language of the Romans, seeped into the vernacular, evolving over time into what we now know as Spanish. The impact of this period is irrefutable, as Roman law, architecture, and culture continue to be integral threads in the tapestry of Spanish identity. Yet, as with all empires, the Romans could not sustain their grasp on power. The fall of the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD left a power vacuum in its wake. Hispania, once a proud province of Rome, found itself on the brink of invasion and at the mercy of new rulers. As the Roman Empire fell, Spain found itself at the crossroads of invading cultures, shaping its future in unforeseen ways. As we delve deeper into Spain's history, we'll see how these invasions and the resulting cultural amalgamations further shaped this fascinating country. Imagine a time of turmoil and change, a time when the Visigoths, Moors, and Christians battled for control over the Iberian Peninsula. As the Roman Empire crumbled, the Visigoths, a Germanic people, moved into the power vacuum, establishing their own kingdom in the 5th century. They created a complex society, blending Roman and Germanic traditions, and played a pivotal role in shaping Spain's early history. However, their reign was not to last. In the early 8th century, the Moors, Muslim invaders from North Africa, swept across the Iberian Peninsula, overthrowing the Visigothic kingdom. The Moors established a new realm, Al-Andalus, which covered most of modern-day Spain and Portugal. Al-Andalus was far more than a political entity. It was a melting pot of cultures where Christians, Jews, and Muslims lived side by side. This period saw a remarkable flourishing of art, science, and philosophy. The Moors introduced advanced agricultural methods, built grand palaces and mosques, and fostered a culture of learning and tolerance. However, this period of relative peace and prosperity was not to last. In the north, Christian kingdoms began to push back against Moorish rule, a movement known as the Reconquista. Over several centuries, these Christian kingdoms gradually reclaimed territory, culminating in the capture of Granada in 1492. This victory marked a turning point. Spain was unified under the Catholic monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella, who sought to create a single, unified Christian kingdom. They issued the Alhambra decree, expelling Jews from Spain unless they converted to Christianity. This marked the end of religious tolerance that had been a hallmark of Al-Andalus, but the beginning of a unified Spain. With the Reconquista complete and the discovery of a new world, Spain was poised to enter a golden age. This period of Spanish history was marked by great turmoil and change, but it was also a time of remarkable cultural and intellectual achievement. It set the stage for Spain's rise as a global power, and its impact can still be felt today. What would you do if you had the power to explore unknown territories and expand your kingdom? As the 15th century dawned, Spain stood on the precipice of a golden age, an era of exploration and empire. The Age of Exploration, as historians fondly call it, was a time when Spanish ships, commanded by intrepid explorers, sailed into the uncharted waters of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. At the forefront of these voyages was a man named Christopher Columbus. With the financial backing of Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand, Columbus embarked on a journey that would change the world. His goal was to find a westward route to the rich spice islands of Asia, but instead he stumbled upon a vast landmass that was later named the Americas. The wealth that Columbus and the explorers who followed him brought back from the Americas was staggering. Gold, silver, and precious gems filled the coffers of the Spanish monarchy. The riches of the New World transformed Spain into the most prosperous nation in Europe, a beacon of wealth and power that shone across the continent. But it wasn't just about material wealth. The age of exploration was also a period of cultural and artistic flourishing in Spain. The influx of wealth from the New World fueled the Spanish Renaissance, a time of intense artistic and intellectual activity. Painters, poets, and philosophers thrived, their works reflecting the optimism and grandeur of the time. Yet even as the gold glittered and the culture flourished, shadows of conflict and decline lurked beneath. The immense wealth attracted the envy and hostility of other European powers. The indigenous peoples of the Americas resisted the Spanish invaders, leading to brutal conflicts. And within Spain, the seeds of division and discord were being sown, threatening the unity of the kingdom. However, as the gold glittered, shadows of conflict and decline lurked beneath. The age of exploration was a time of great achievement for Spain, but it was also the beginning of a long and complex journey, filled with triumphs and challenges that would shape the nation's destiny. How does a mighty empire grapple with decline, internal strife, and the winds of change? This question becomes pertinent as we delve into the period of Spanish history marked by decline and civil war. The War of Spanish Succession, fought in the early 18th century, was a pivotal moment. It arose from a crisis of succession following the death of the childless Charles II. European powers clashed over who should ascend to the Spanish throne, a conflict that spilled over Spain's borders, involving much of the continent. The war's conclusion saw the Bourbon family firmly installed on the Spanish throne, but at the cost of significant territorial concessions. As Spain moved into the 19th century, it was a nation grappling with the loss of empire. The once vast territories in the Americas, Asia, and the Pacific were slipping away one by one, culminating in the Spanish-American War of 1898. This conflict marked the loss of Spain's last significant overseas territories, including Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. The loss of empire was a bitter pill to swallow, and it brought with it a period of profound political instability. The 19th century was a time of tumult, marked by numerous uprisings, political assassinations, and changes in government. The Spanish people were divided along multiple lines: political, social, and regional. These divisions would eventually culminate in the Spanish Civil War, a brutal and bloody conflict that raged from 1936 to 1939. It was a war that pitted brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, and left deep scars on the Spanish psyche. The war was not just a battle for political control, it was a struggle for the soul of Spain. As we close this chapter of Spanish history, we see a nation in the throes of transformation. The old ways were dying, and a new Spain was struggling to be born. It was a time of great upheaval, but also of great potential. The echoes of the Civil War would resonate deeply into the following decades. Can a nation scarred by dictatorship find its way back to democracy? This question loomed large over Spain as it emerged from the shadows of the Franco dictatorship, a regime that ruled with an iron fist for almost 4 decades, from the late 1930s to the mid-1970s. The Franco era was marked by repression, censorship, and an attempt to forge a unified Spanish identity, often at the expense of regional cultures and languages. But it also witnessed the development of infrastructure, industry, and tourism, setting the stage for Spain's later economic progress. Franco's death in 1975 brought an end to this era, but not without leaving its indelible mark on the Spanish psyche. The transition to democracy was a delicate dance, a balancing act of avoiding old wounds while forging a path towards a more inclusive and open society. The Spanish Constitution of 1978 marked a significant step in this transition, establishing a parliamentary monarchy and guaranteeing rights such as freedom of speech and assembly. It also recognized Spain's regional diversity, providing a degree of autonomy to its 17 autonomous communities. Spain's economic development during this period was remarkable. From a largely agrarian economy under Franco, it transformed into a vibrant, diversified economy, becoming the fourth largest in the European Union by the turn of the 21st century. Spain's entry into the European Union in 1986 further bolstered its economic and political transformation. It offered the country a platform to engage with its European neighbors, not as a pariah state, but as a partner in shaping the continent's future. Yet, contemporary Spain faces its own set of challenges: economic crises, political corruption, and the question of regional independence, particularly in Catalonia, continue to test the strength of Spain's democracy. But these challenges also highlight the achievements of a nation that has come a long way since the dark days of dictatorship. From prehistoric times to the present, the history of Spain is a captivating saga of resilience, revolution, and reinvention.